What is up, guys? It is your LOL support here, and today we're going to be bringing you a mid lane karma guide. And this guide will be featuring information on her abilities, build potentials, and also various methods that I like to use when playing karma. And without further ado, let's get into it. So first we're going to go over her ability set. First, we're going to go in a little bit of a different order. We're going to go her passive, ultimate, and then abilities, and then affected abilities with the ultimate, which it will make sense when I explain it. So her passive is Gathering Fire, and the passive is damaging enemies with Karma's abilities, refreshes 2 seconds of Mantra's cooldown, and half that amount on a basic tax against enemies. This is kind of what separates a good karma and a not so great karma is it forces you to harass to be able to put out more lane dominance. So if you see anytime I get a chance, I'm landing my Q on Morgana and or landing an auto attack just to reduce the cooldown on Mantra. And speaking of Mantra, let's go into her ultimate. Mantra is her ability that you get at level 1, and what it does is it has the potential to empower one ability or your next ability cast. And we'll go over what each augmented ability does. So we're going to go into her Q, which is her Inner Flame. And this is a skill shot projectile that has a very, very good range of 950. It's very short on cooldown as well. It's going to be shorter than a lot of the cooldowns that mid laners will have to poke you down with. So it's comparable to maybe like an Ezreal Q for an ADC. So take advantage of this. The only other person with shorter cooldowns are people like Karthus or Syndra. And those people are have relatively short cooldowns, like 2 seconds for Karthus, 4 seconds for Syndra. This one has about 7 seconds. But it just shoots out a projectile. It does an AoE splash damage, meaning that you can target minions close to the enemy champion, and it will explode, and then they will receive damage. And it slows the target by 25% for 1.5 seconds. It scales very well with AP, scaling in at 60% AP. The augmented version, or the mantra version of her Q, is Soul Flare. And it does the same concept, except the projectile deals bonus magic damage and leaves a radius on the ground. And if you're within that radius, you are slowed. And if you remain in the radius for 1.5 seconds, it detonates and does additional damage. Now, a key thing to realize with this, I just shot it out right there, and you could see it left a little aura on the ground. One thing to notice about this ability is that you don't have to hit someone for the aura to be laying down. It's when it makes contact with the first enemy unit or neutral monster camp, and if it doesn't make contact, it goes to the maximum range, and then it is laid down. The radius is laid down. So if you hit a champion at max range of your Q, but you don't connect with them, they have a better chance of surviving the blast or getting out of the blast. However, if you make direct contact with the enemy with a mantra Q, it is very hard, almost impossible for them to get out unless they have a certain kind of gap closer, Katarina, Shunpo, Lee Sin, Safeguard, or queuing an enemy minion. And the bonus magic damage with the mantra is 30% AP. Her next ability, which is her tether, her stun, is called Focus Resolve. This has a range of 650, and if the enemy who is chained with this bind if the tether isn't broken, they're rooted in place for a set amount of time, whatever rank the ability is. I tend to use this. I take 1 rank in it, but I rank it or max it last because the stun duration is not worth the potential damage or the potential shield I could be getting in my Q and E. So I take 1 point in it, and then I choose to max it last. But leveling up this ability will increase your root duration. And the augmented version of this, or the mantra version, is Renewal. And it is the same concept. However, the tether now heals karma and steals their life, almost like a fiddlestick string. And the way the heal works is it heals karma for 20% plus 1% per 100 AP of her missing health upon casting, and another 20% plus 1% per 100 ability power if the leash isn't broken. So it does have a good amount of healing when augmented. Times that I would choose to make it a mantra W is if I'm being chased by someone who is of relatively the same health as me, and I have a chance to burst them down. I will mantra W EQ, and that usually allows me to get the kill. And the last one is her shield, Inspire, and this has a range of 800. You can cast it on an allied minion, you can cast it on a ally, you can cast it on yourself. So this is a pretty general shield that you can give out. It increases the target's movement speed as well. The shield scales with 50% AP, and it gives a bonus 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60% movement speed. Now, when mantra, this ability will grant all allies within the area a shield and do damage around your target to enemy champions or enemy minions. So it's a good thing to do in a team fight where there's where a lot of mobility will benefit your team. So right here, I want to go into this fight, and I want to break this fight down now that we're done with the abilities, and I'm going to explain to you why I make every move the way I do. So now right here you see that Lee Sin and Nocturne are fighting in the brush, and I see that Nocturne is a higher level than Lee Sin, so right here I have the choice to either go in, make it a 2v2, or I can peel Morgana, who can stun the Nocturne, and give him a better chance. So right here I choose to tether. I shield myself so I can speed myself up to catch up to the fight. I tether, forcing her to run away, and once I see that she used the spell shield, I go back into the fight to help out my Nocturne. Sadly, Lee Sin had his ult, and Nocturne just barely missed the fear as far as time is concerned. So right there, I mantra my Q just so I can get the extra damage. I flash after him because I know he has no escapes right now. Seeing his inventory, he had no wards that he could hop to. I ignite, throw the Kamehameha wave, and get the kill and secure a red buff. So right there, not much I could have done about saving the Nocturne. However, I did make the best of the situation, and that's what you have to be able to do as Karma. You have to be able to know what to do at the right times with your mantra abilities, because it will make the difference whether you pick up a kill, save an ally, or if it ends up being an unfair trade or an uneven trade. So if you look at my items, the first thing I rushed was a Tear the Goddess, and the reason being Karma is very mana heavy, especially when you start spamming abilities. So you need that extra mana, and honestly, that's all you need. You don't need a Rod of Ages. You don't need a... so right here, sorry about the cutting in and out of trains of thought, but I wanted to show you guys a play where I focused on what the other enemy was doing, and I turned it into a play. So right there, I forced Morgana to pop her spell shield, or her magic shield. And knowing that I forced her to pop it, right here what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around. I'm going to slow it down for you guys. I'm going to walk around. Right when I know that shield's about to go down, I give myself a shield, I tether her, and then instead of going straight for her, I run straight. So I dodge the the bind. Right there, I force a flash, land a Q, land an auto for the red burn. So right there, that was just an example of outplaying and knowing what your enemy's strengths are and playing to them. Like, I knew Morgana's shield was going to be a huge problem for me, considering I do a massive amount of magic damage. But I also know that the cooldown on that is relatively long. So by taking advantage of that, I was able to bully her out of lane and ultimately increase my CS lead, and also on top of that, having another kill over her, it's really snowballing me in this lane. So right there, just landing a mantra Q. If your mantra is up and you have no real reason to hold it, like you're not expecting a team fight or anything like that, mantra Q for harass, because it does too much damage not to utilize it. Right there, I just missed the skill shot terribly. I thought the minion was coming up. But Some cool things about her Q, you don't have to hit the enemy champion like Ezreal's Q. You can hit the closest minion to them, and it has the potential to splash over to them and do additional damage. So right here, if you take a look at the minimap, they're pinging me, and right here I'm going to show you what happens, okay? So I see Lee Sin, and the first thing I do, I tether him with my mantra. The reason being, I know Lee Sin has a lot of gap closer, so to mantra Q would be a waste of the AoE, because he just has the potential to jump to me or jump to the Twitch, which I didn't know was there at the time. So by mantra W, if he jumps to me, I'll still be able to life tap him so that I'll be able to survive if he comes in within close for close engage. So then right after, I pop my shield, Twitch shows up, I tether him, I throw out the Q, and then I leave. The shield offered so much utility as far as movement speed and damage absorption that I was able to make out of that fight with relatively low damage done to me. So that is the reason I mantraed my W instead of mantra Q or mantra E. So situations like that are generally the right time to mantra your W. So right here, I see Sona and I see my teammates. Now, as Karma, you can't be a selfish mid lane assassin like you can with Ahri or you can with Zed. You have to hang back a tiny bit and almost kind of be an AP bursty support, if that makes sense. So right here, I know Sona is about to crescendo. So what I do is I stay back, wait for the crescendo to go out, and the second I see the crescendo, I go in, see who I need to shield. I see Nocturne's getting beat up, so I choose to shield him so he can get out of the fray, threw a Q in there, giving my Graves an easy kill. And right here, Graves flashes out. I stay near him because I see Lee Sin come in, and if Lee Sin threw a Q, I wanted to be able to walk in front and dodge or take the hit for my ADC. So right there was an example of good positioning, scaring off my enemies. So right there, I tried to mantra Q the back wave and just plain missed, and that was my fault. But you see, I'm still staying really close to Graves. I'm letting him do the damage that he wants to do, but I'm also being there for a support. And right there, I just give him a Q just in case, or a shield just in case if Lee Sin landed his Q. So we're gonna speed it up again. Anyways, going back to the item build, you don't need a whole lot of mana on her. A Seraph's Embrace is just enough. Like, it's perfect. You don't need anything other than that. And then other things I like to go for, Rabadon's Death Cap. If it's a AD lane like Talon, I'll usually go Seeker's Arm Guard, and I'll leave the Seekers until I finish everything else, and then I'll probably get Zhonya's, because you don't really, the positioning that you have with Karma, you don't really need Zhonya's. So just, there's really no reason for it, so I just leave it at Seeker's Arm Guard, and then get the Rabadons before I get Zhonya. So right there, I just picked up a kill. It was on the support, and I know that with another kill, I'd be able to go back and buy some things, and I'd be more helpful to my team. And I'd rather take a kill from my ADC on a support than take a kill on, say, an ADC who's on a spree. So right there, give myself some gold income, pick up a needlessly large rod, pick up the home guards just so that I can get to lane faster. Just I'm snowballing my lane, so I want to get to lane, get as much CS as I can. Another thing to know about Karma is that you will be doing more damage than your enemy. Like, that's just a given, unless it's like a very skilled Syndra or a very skilled Karthus who's good at landing his skill shots. Because of your Q range, that's what makes you so good, and your mantra Q doing just tons of damage. Right there, Sona got caught out of position, so I made sure I punished her for that. That's another thing that most League players nowadays do not do, is they don't punish people for being out of position. Later on in this clip, you're going to see where a Lee Sin went out of position, and he just walks by our team, and there was no repercussion. And I got kind of mad at my team for that. Just telling them, hey guys, pay attention to the map, because that was an easy kill that we should have had. But take advantage of your opponent's errors. So right here, they're pinging the Lee. The Lee gets just simply caught out of position. There's really nothing he could do there. I started with my W so that if he were to try and get away, at least we could have a root, because if Lee Sin gets away but is rooted, you still have a chance to catch up. So right there, Morg was AFK, but I went in just because I didn't realize that she was until a little bit after. And it's a normals game, so I figured try not to be BM and just let her reconnect. So right there, we were kind of getting upset at our Graves for not being very nice. If it's a ranked game, capitalize. If they're AFK, they're AFK, or if they're DC, they're DC. But if it's a normals game, just show a little bit of decency. This community is already kind of a little bit toxic. Might as well make it as friendly as possible, or as, restore faith in humanity, as you could say. So right here, Nocturne, good ult, went in on the Twitch. It was just good positioning, good decision making. So right here is the example of where the Lee Sin was out of position. So see, he barely walks over one of our wards. And right here, I noticed one of two things. Lee Sin is either going to come through that path that I just checked, or come through the path where Tarek is close to right now. Because that is the only way he can rejoin his team, unless he chooses to ward hop over the wall, which is honestly what I would have done. So right here, I expect him to be here. I expected him to come through there at that particular time. So I get close to land my bind, throw it right away, and then land my Q. And Tarek right there, if he had been in position, could have landed the stun. I think he said it was on cooldown or something like that. But that was an example of someone who just walked by, had no repercussion for a bad choice. And you guys need to capitalize on that. That is free gold that no one is taking advantage of. Right there, just dropping bombs with my Mantra Q. Mantra Q just is a nuke. And if Mantra is up and you're not expecting a team fight, use it. So right here, speed up the Nocturne. I bind the Lee Sin, and I wait for the shield to go down and then throw it. I missed, but just holding off on that Q, just so I don't waste any waste any mana or waste any damage. So right here, I noticed that Nock is getting caught out right here, so I try and speed over to him. And sadly, I was too late, but Graves also had the same idea, and he was able to catch up and get the kill. So I want to go over some combos that you can do with Karma. One really good combo, especially if you're in lane, is going E and then tether. So you get the move speed and you just juke side to side. This works especially well with people like Lux or people like Morgana, who rely on a stun and who rely on you being rooted to do damage. So by dodging around like that, you're able to dodge their skill shots, and people in this level are really easy to predict skill shots. So it's really easy to dodge, especially with your E. Especially with your move speed boost on your E. Right here, Graves is getting a little bit overconfident. Shield was on cooldown. I didn't have anything to do about that. But yeah, going back to that combo, E, W, dodge, and then when the stun lands, you can Q. If you can Q with your Mantra if it's off of cooldown. That's always a good combo to do. I use that a lot when I harass in lane. If you saw earlier in the video, you can rewind it and you can see that I use that combo a lot to poke down Morgana. And it's just it's almost like free harass, because even if you get attacked with your shield up, it's not going to do much damage to you, just because it is just a massive shield that scales well with AP. And it gives you the move speed, so it's harder to hit you, So I would probably choose a different route on that when I go against people who can really do some damage to me, who don't have a lot of skill shots. Instead of EW Mantra Q, I will probably E Mantra W Q, just in case if they land some kind of damage on me, I still have that life tap potential, so it's free trade. You want to make it as much a free trade as possible when you're using Karma. So that's the difference. If someone is more skill shot oriented, EW Q or EW Mantra Q. If someone's more targeted damage, I would go E Mantra W Q. So right here, caught out of position. I had to flash out just so I know for sure I'd make it out alive. I'm not useful to my team dead. Karma is such an asset to your team that if you need to be selfish and you need to protect yourself, do it, because your team will be better off by you living. Because I'm able to speed up Graves. I sped up Graves. He was able to get the double kill. So, you know, utilizing your skills to progress other champions, get other people fed. That's what Karma's about. And she also does a ton of damage, like you see right there on a Udyr who's pretty tanky in turtle stance. Took a good amount of health away. So you don't want to be too greedy with Karma. That's the thing. You want to be able to progress your teammates as well as make sure you... Oh, look at that shield, by the way. That's how OP this shield is. He got Lee Sin kicked, got turret aggroed, and made it out of that with half HP, no problem. I mean, that's how powerful her shield is. So you want to be able to utilize Karma's kit in progressing your teammates as well as, you know, helping out yourself. So right here, Twitch thinks he can catch me. Just E and then Mantra Q. E Mantra Q is one of the best kiting combos with Karma. I don't tend to like to cast W when I'm kiting. If I've casted W in a bush, I'll cast it in a bush. But if they have line of sight, I don't like to do it because it does disrupt movement. It's the longest movement disrupt of her kit. So I will tend to E Mantra Q, or if Mantra's on cooldown, EQ, because it does slow and it gives me a speed boost. So you're very hard to catch as Karma. And it's generally a good idea not to stop movement speed as much as possible. So right here, try to save my Riven. I couldn't do it. I did, however, help out the Nocturne, and right there I speed him up just in case if he had his Fear available. And I know Udyr is very fast, so I want to try and either slow Udyr down or speed Nocturne up in order for him to catch him. So right here, Morgana starts her ultimate. I break the tether. I sadly had to give up a teammate dying there, but it was worth it because right there I was able to peel from my Nocturne, peel the Morgana off. So right here, Lee Sin's coming towards me. I see him put the ward down. I change direction automatically because I know Lee Sin's like to do that. Ward hop Q. So right here, shield, Mantra Q, poke. It's too much, you know. Had that Morgana not popped her shield, that probably would have killed her. So it's a very potent kite tool. So right here, just trying to get a little bit of farm. I wanted blue buff, so I'm going to go take that really fast. It's a little bit of downtime right here. That's another thing. She kind of relies a lot on her abilities and her cooldowns. So CDR, you don't need to get it, but it's sometimes nice. It helps you clear out camps faster if you're going to be doing that. But against champions, you don't really need it. Your stuff is on such a short cooldown that you really don't need it. So right there, I picked up Will of the Ancients just so I could get a little bit of spell vamp because I was doing a lot of damage and I was being kind of close in the mix-ups. So I didn't want to risk it too much. So I went ahead, picked up a little bit of spell vamp. So right here, we're pushing lane. I told my team, watch this, I'm going to drop a bomb on this Morgana. And I see her get caught out of position, drop the bomb, chunk her for a quarter health, maybe even a third health, just off of the initial damage. So right here, I choose to speed myself up over Taric because Lee Sin versus Riven, I don't know how that was going to go. It was my friend and he was trying to get his Riven mechanics down. So I didn't know how that was going to go for him. So I chose to speed myself up and get the root on Lee Sin first if he went in. So right there, he turned away because we came in. Right there, speed up Riven a little bit just so she could potentially land the stun. Landing my Qs. You want to speed up the person that has the most effect on how the outcome of the team fight works. Sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your ADC, sometimes it's not. So right here, we're going to go into a team fight, and I'm going to slow it down just so you can see exactly what's happening here. So right there, I E my Taric so he can get in there and start tanking some of the damage. I Mantra, throw my Q in because they're kind of clumped up. So right there, chunk the Morgana. Just explode. She gets deleted. Right there, Nocturne goes over to the Twitch. I didn't have my shield up for my Riven. But what I do, I tether the Lee Sin. Now tethering the Lee Sin has two bonuses. It forces him to flash, or it forces him to use some of his mobility in order to break the tether, or he gets stunned. And also, if he does get stunned, it's allowing my Nocturne to go do more damage on the Twitch. So right now, if you see the positioning, it's a 3v2 with Udyr coming in right just below this scoreboard. So I know that it's about to become a 3v3. So I want to put as much focus into taking out the lowest health or the nearest target to me, which is Lee Sin. So right here, I land my tether. Lee Sin flashes just like I said he would. And right here, I throw my Q. I don't care if it's kill stealing or not. I want to get rid of him. So right here, Taric is on Twitch. We're both going towards Twitch, and Udyr's trying to save his ADC. Now, I have one of two choices, like earlier in the match. I can either peel, or I can make it a 2v2. And this is a fight that I thought would better be a 1v1. So I turn, I try and distract the Udyr. Right here, throw on my shield because I know he's about to stun me. And Tiger Stance is going to kick in. Right there, you see it's just, my shield is taking a lot of the damage. And right there, I see the Udyr turn. Right when I see the Udyr turn, I turn in. I make sure I go in to help my Taric. He flashes for it, so I'm a little bit behind schedule. But my Taric also flashes for the kill, gets the kill, and my Taric said go in on this, so I just trusted him, went in. I shielded myself. I missed my initial Q, got the tether so that if Taric needed to run, Udyr would be rooted. Right here, hit him with the Q, waiting, weaving in auto attacks. I'm waiting for my shield to come up to shield Taric. Right there, save him at about 100 HP, and from this point on, my shield is so beefy, Taric is actually gaining health from this fight. So right here, just doing damage, throwing a Mantra Q to finish off and ace the team. So right there, that was good decision making on my part and very courageous work on the Taric's part. And right there, the Taric was just going crazy, just laughing his ass off because it was just such a unbelievable thing that he was tanking an Udyr to the face and didn't die. But that's the power of karma, and Taric's a little OP right now as well. So right here, I'm going to fast forward. We're just going back to base. I'm going to pick up my next item, which I believe is a Void Staff. Yep, and the Void Staff is just going to help me do even more damage. They're not really building any magic resist, but I'll take down the initial magic resist that they have on the character and do more damage, you know. It's like Armor Pen, you know, it's always nice to have. So right there, I'm staying back. I'm trying to see what the best thing to do is. Riven goes in too deep, so there's not much I could do there. I shield my Taric to potentially get him out of that, but I would have been no use to my team had I died. Look at that. The second splash of that Q is just crazy on Mantra. But I stayed back, watched my team, and made the best decision from there. Had the Riven not gone so far in, that would have been a better fight for me to go in, and I would have sped myself up and gotten into that fight. But since she overcommitted, it was a 2v4, and it was very unfavorable for us. So right there, sped up Graves, gets a kill. We're just kind of just doing damage as we will. Graves, I don't know why he's getting so cocky right there. He goes in, takes a couple of tower shots. Right there, landing my Qs, dropping bombs, which you should be doing with Karma. Right there, she gets caught out, and that time we capitalize. And that was a free kill, free gold. So right here, I plant my war trinket over just so I could see over the wall, so I can land better Qs. So right here, this is another team fight. So right there, so I see everyone's clumped up, right? So initially, I break the tether on Morgana, and I throw in a Mantra Q. Or I throw in a Q. I throw in the Mantra at the beginning. Now, the reason you want to throw a Mantra Q at the beginning of the fight is because it separates your teammates. So I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's such a narrow path that the radius of your Mantra Q will take up all of that path. So they can either cross it and get to us, or stay on the other side, in which case we can just kite and just poke. And we are a very poke-oriented team. At least I am. So right here, they're damaged we're going to go in. Graves is going to lead the charge. I'm going to go back in, help him out, land the Q. He has a good handle on Udyr, but just in case, I give him the shield. Right here, instead of walking all the way around, it was quicker for me to make a split decision, flash over the wall, click my mantra, throw in the max Kamehameha wave, and get the max range on that. And Tarek offers to tank this turret for me, but I tell him my shield is OP, I don't need your help. And look at that, 2 tower shots, and I still have a little bit of shield left over. So that just tells you how strong this shield is. So right here, Sona comes out. I don't know what she was doing. I guess she thought she was trying to do something. Land a Q. Tarek lands a stun. I land a double stun with my tether, and she is dead. So picked up another ace, and that is pretty much the game. I wanted to thank you guys for watching this guide. If it helped you out, please leave a like. Leave me some comments, what you would like to know. If you have any other questions, please feel free to inbox me, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. I don't know, Twitch is trying to kill me there, but to no avail. So if you have any questions, please inbox me. Let me know what you think. Comments, double explosions are always nice. And don't forget to like and share this video with your friends, and leave suggestions for future champions that you guys want to see. If the one guy, there was a guy requesting a Lux guide, and if he responds to that, I might be making a Lux guide next. But let me know what you guys think. Comments always help. I can't stress that enough. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and your LOL support is out.